Hi, Scott here from Outlaw Garage. Today we're down at Demop Garage down in South Frankston. We've come to look at a very cool bus with airbag. Look at this. So we're here with a very special bus.
G'day guys.
So, bit of a story behind this because it didn't turn up orange and white, and as we'll see in a minute, airbagged. Just like this when you first got it.
Yeah, no, she definitely wasn't. I picked this up back in 2013 off eBay, and I got it for about $2,000, which a lot of people always gasp and they can't believe it, but it was an auction, and I was actually surprised in the morning that I actually won it. So I had to drive a fair long way, a 10-hour round trip to pick it up, and when it got back here, my parents thought I was crazy because it had a lot of rust in it, no interior. I think they'd painted some mustard colour on the side of it, and I think it was originally a very light green colour. It is a 61 microbus, so it does have the seats inside it. And as I found out later, getting a birth certificate from Europe, it's actually an import from Fiji. And then from Fiji, it actually came to Australia, and this is why it only has the single lights on the back and not the twin lights, which the Australian splitties for a 61 had the twin lights. So always throws a few people off at the shows when they see it and they see those single lights on the back. But
so it's had a life of driving barrels of, is it Carver around Fiji?
Yeah, probably did. Yeah, I don't know, but you know, as with all these things, the lower 6 inches was gone, the floor was gone inside. Actually, probably the worst rust was this whole top was completely missing right along here.
Oh wow.
So I had to rebuild all this, and it took me about three years to build it, and I did all the, you know, I made a rotisserie out of some engine stands, and I did all the welding myself. I do a lot of TIG welding and fabrication stuff on the side, so and then of course, being a surfboard builder, the spray painting side of it was actually second nature for me. So I did most of that. The interior was done by Dave up at VW Trim.
So we'll take a look at the interior now.
Yeah.
Lovely carpet. Seats look fantastic. So like you said, these aren't the original.
No, they're not. In actual fact, this middle seat was a modified bay window seat.
Okay.
And back when these were reasonably cheap, I think I picked this middle seat up for about $500, and I mean now they're going for a couple of thousand, which is crazy. But I did a lot of the frame modifications to make it look like a splitty seat.
Yeah.
And then Dave did an amazing job to cover them.
Yeah,
the rear
they're covered fantastic.
Yeah, he's done a good job. I mean, I wanted that red piping theme.
Yes,
to sort of carry on from.
And then the rear is a rock and roll.
The rear is. Unfortunately, you can't use it unless you take the middle seat out. It won't actually fold out because this comes forward and then the back goes down. But
how you've got it set up, it's not too hard to take that row of seats out if you want to go camping.
Absolutely,
and pull them out and kind of go from
absolutely, there. Yeah. It's just wing nutted. You know, you got four. I've put more than you need. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mounts on it.
Yeah.
So.
But not hard to get out.
No.
You kind of, if you're going on a camping trip, like you said, throwing some surfboards on the roof, that's easy to kind of do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We'll take a look on the front as well. So here we go. The inside the front door cards are lovely. They're a really nice fit.
Yeah, I made those myself actually. So Dave did the seats, but the rest of the upholstery I did myself. Even the mum's actually a dressmaker, so she you know had a crack at doing the stitching for the carpet. And I was told the carpet's actually Porsche carpet, and it was frightfully expensive. I think I paid about $900 for the carpet for the whole thing.
Yeah, okay.
And I kind of cringed a little bit on that one, but anyway.
And
it was a colour match.
Anybody who's got a bus, you can see it's been tubbed.
Yeah, quite substantially, about 75 mil. And also, if you have a look, this has also been modified. So the normal stock door comes down to here. And then you can see now what's happened here. I've actually, that's actually needs re-gluing there, but that's all right. Yeah, so what happens now, when that shuts, you're getting more clearance, because when a lot of guys do tubbing normally, they only tub it to here, and then you've still got inside here where the wheel can hit it if you're running that low. So that was a little bit of a problem-solving design I came up with. Not my design again. I think I saw a bus in America had this similar sculpted out section. So
but a good idea.
It does work really well. I mean, the seat obviously is a foam. What we did with the seat for the comfort side of it was we've got two kinds of foam. We've got a high density, and then I think it was like a 50 mil softer one that Dave decided to play around with. And I tell you what, I've driven this bus for a good 6-hour drive, and it is comfortable.
Yeah, okay.
I've never had an issue. I mean, the vision is a little bit, you are definitely high up.
Yeah, well, I think we'll ask you to hop in.
Yeah, so
I'll grab the door.
Yeah, I'm about 6'1", so as you'll see here, if I was to completely go back against the seat, you can see my eyesight is looking right here.
Right at the sun visor.
Right at the sun visor. So how I drive this is I'll either do two methods. Come forward like that and just hang off the steering wheel, which is a pretty cruisy position. And you can do that. Or if it starts to get a little bit uncomfortable, I'll just move back like that. So I've got full vision. So you are a little bit close to the pedals and stuff, but it works. And like I said, I've had a long drive on this and haven't had an issue. So
no, that's great. And we'll take a closer look at the air ride in a second or two.
Yeah,
that's great. Okay, so we're at the rear of the bus. Not your standard 1600 motor.
No.
Which you wouldn't expect in a bag bus anyway. A nice little Stan Podjoy motor. He's a bit of a specialist for the Volkswagen motors here in Australia, and dual spark really is his bit of a thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think his history went back to light aircraft. Yeah. And he was actually making these motors to go in light aircraft, and they wanted them to be more reliable. So he played around with this dual spark system, and it runs fantastic.
And what size motor is it?
1916 it is. Yeah. 1916. It's got dual Cadrons on it, and it motors along really nice. Like, it was a little bit hot for the first 6 months of driving it, and that was just purely because it was running in. And I did have to change this pulley. This pulley is a Porsche pulley, and it's a smaller diameter, and that just made the ratio change, and we get a faster spinning fan inside. And that has helped drop the temperature, but I might actually put that back to the stock size pulley.
And you don't have an external oil cooler on it?
No, he's a big fan against them.
Yeah. Okay.
And only because there's actually a couple of things he does not like, and you'll notice here I don't have an aluminium pulley.
Yeah.
He does not like those because he calls them bearing killers, because the two different types of metal will actually start to end up with slop in the pulley, and then you're forever trying to tension it and get them tight, and people don't, and then they come loose, and then they end up flogging out your bearings. So he said to me, put a steel pulley on, don't put the aluminium ones, which I know a lot of people have them. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You just got to watch them, I suppose. But he's not a fan of the external oil coolers. I did ask him about it, because when it was overheating, I said, hey, what's the deal here? And he goes, no, because then you get the oil pump's working harder, and then this and that. He goes, leave it as it is, and it'll
settle down.
It'll settle down. That's right.
Yeah, and I guess you just got to be a little bit cognizant of the speed you're going at on a summer's day. It's a big old bus that's not aerodynamic.
That's right.
So manage it from there. And you've got the fire suppression.
Yeah, the blades cut system, and great that they're allowed back in the country, because for a while there they actually banned them in Australia because of the explosive gas that was in them, and I think the customs had to do some testing on them. I don't know what happened, but for a few years,
compliance reasons.
Yeah, they had to get them complied. But now they're about $300 for that's a 2.5 metre, and you just zip tie them in, and if you've got any issues with a leaking fuel line or whatever, and they go up, well, You know, at least you get
Yeah,
to
because
save
I
it.
was asking earlier about, you know, the engine bay will get hot, and if I compare this to the 356, like that's a big motor in a small space as well.
Yeah.
Like it gets warm in there, and you're always a bit like, well,
Yeah.
is it going to explode? Is it going to go off? But I think
Yeah.
you were saying that the settings on the blaze cut is really,
Yeah.
unless it's on fire, it's
Yeah.
not just going to randomly explode in your engine bay.
That's right. Look, there's a really good video on YouTube that Blaze Cut have put on where they've got an old bus and they've got a perspex window here, and you know they set the motor afire, and the thing's on fire, and you can see it on fire, and then you know maybe 5 seconds later, bang, and it just. I mean.
Which is not just going to happen with either engine heat, and you've tidied out the way so it's not resting on anything hot of your engine.
That's exactly right.
I noticed you got a bit of tape for some covering some holes in your engine lid.
Yeah, so
did you run that for a little while?
Yeah, I did actually, and if you look on the lid here, it's actually stayed away. It's got a little bit of a spacer between that and the number plate.
Yeah.
And it was just an experiment. When I was having all these overheating issues, I thought...
let a bit more air.
I'll have a go. This engine lid actually, as good as it looks, is actually completely clapped out, and it's only temporarily on here. It's full of rust. It's really just been painted over to get me by, but I need to get another lid. So hence why I drilled the holes and I didn't really care about it. But in the end, I taped them back up because a few other VW professors out there have said to me, yeah, you really need this to be a full sealed environment for the flow system to work properly, and that's how they designed it. You know, they designed it like that back in the day, and you kind of don't want to stuff around with it. So hence why I've just blocked them off.
Yeah,
and,
very good.
Yeah, and it's working good so far. So no issues.
Well, I guess what we'll do is we'll look at the bit that probably people are fascinated with, and the air ride inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here we go, the air ride kit all under the rock and roll bed. Look at that setup there. So what's the story behind that then?
So I suppose the real story was I wanted the thing on airbags. It was just one of my dreams back when I was restoring it. So I was like, okay, how are we going to do this? And I was lucky that I've got two engineers in the family, my father-in-law and my brother-in-law, and they both worked for Holden. So, you know, we kind of nutted a few things out. But the kit comes from Air Ride Supplies, which are in Bayswater. Yeah. And Dave set me up with all the twin compressors. I think they're an 840 unit each unit, and then the tank I think is I'm not sure what size tank it is.
Yeah, because that's a fair size tank as well.
He sort of said to me, really you need a reasonably good sized tank, and you do find when you start the bus up, you know, it has a little bit of a leak somewhere which I haven't been able to find, so it does lose air over a week or so. So when you start the bus up, you know, the two compressors will scream to life for, you know, about 30 seconds before it pumps up.
Yeah.
What I did do is put a couple of valves on here. I can show you.
All right. Look at this. We're squeezing in.
Here we go. So these little valves here are actually like little proportional valves, and I've got a little bit of paint on them there, and that will they're going to the backs, and I put those in so that when I press the buttons, the bus comes down level, because you've got different length air lines going to front to back. It's got a little bit of a different balance to it. So without those balance pipes or whatever you want to call them, it goes a bit weird.
Yeah.
And then I did put the silencers in too. So these two little guys here are silencers to make it a little bit not as you know, when you're going. I didn't want it obnoxious, so I popped those in as well. And then you've got your 4-valve AccuAir system, and then the ECU for running the whole show. Up the front we've got the controller, which I've mounted under the dash, but I also have the controls on my iPhone as well.
Okay, so we'll have a look at the ones on the dash.
Yep.
Let you out.
So what you've got here is, I just wanted to mount it out of the way. I didn't want it. Originally, I had it where little Jenna is
where
here.
Where the little lady is?
Yeah, she just, talks to me every now and again. But I had it actually in the ashtray, popping up out of there, which was kind of a cool look. But then it just draws, when you go to car shows, people see it and they can, if the safaris are open, they can just yoink it out, and it's like about $700. So you don't want it getting stolen. So, but the idea is, on here you've got 3, 2, 1. So obviously 2 is ride height. So when you start the vehicle up, it'll basically go to ride height. 3 would be fully up, which is about 140 mil off the ground. 2 is 100 mil off the ground. 1 is 75 mil off the ground, and then this is all down. That means it's going to completely deflate the bags, and it'll go down onto the bump stops.
Yeah. Okay.
And then these are each. I think they're front and back.
Yeah.
And then you can play around with up and down per side as well. So,
okay.
And then the other thing, there's another little module which you buy extra, and it will allow you to actually have those controls on your iPhone.
On your iPhone.
So I can go to a show, and as long as the bus is running, which is a bit silly, you can't do it without the motor running, you can be about 200 metres away and start playing around with it and freak people out, because they'll see the bus going up and down going, what's going on? There's no one in it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's how the air ride works. It does have a switch under the handbrake, and that's just by law. When you're installing a system, if you want to have it legal, you can't activate. You can't activate any of this unless the handbrake is on. So it's a little micro switch.
Yep.
So once you depress the handbrake and it's off, it'll only stay in on level 2. And that's just to stop all the young guys driving around with their little Toyota trucks dragging the backside on the ground. Yeah, so that's how that works.
Okay, so we're going to hop in and give the air ride a bit of a go.
I'll start it up because it pretty much has to run, so...
Okay.
As low as she goes, and that's just unfortunately the Aussie laws here. We can't have them rail on the ground. They've got to be on a bump stop, for safety reasons, and that's if you're going to get them engineered, which this is. It could be a little bit lower in the rear end, but that's all right. That's good enough for me. The front gets reasonably low, so
that's nice.
Yeah.
All right, so let's have a look at, that's position 1, is it?
No, that's all down.
That's all down.
That's all down. So if I go to position 1, we'll set, come back up.
Oh, look at that. And then a little bit higher. Look at that. It's really quick.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it does. And the other really good feature it's got, while you're driving, each sensor on each wheel is actively trying to keep the bus level. So you'll hear little squirts of air, almost like a spaceship, knocking out little bits of jet propulsion. And you can turn that function off. You don't have to have it on the whole time, but look, over speed humps, you whack it on 3, it'll go that little bit up. That's just how I've adjusted the 3 levels, but you can change that. You can actually have 3 higher than that. You can have you've got parameters there to play around with, but that's really just how I set it up to get it on the road. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the video today. The airbag on this bus is really, really cool. Good to see, because we're trying to do one on our 65 double door. So that's given us some good ideas about how to actually get it working on our bus. Please subscribe to Demop and look at them on Instagram as well. We'll put a link in the description below for their channel and their page, so please hop over to that and throw the guys some support, because they're doing some great work. We will be back again to look at another one of their buses. I think they've got a single cab locked away in the garage somewhere, so please subscribe and we'll see you later, guys. Bye.